The Algeria squad never seems to be straightforward. Are you sad about no Riyad, or are you glad that Vlad has taken that decision? 25 names to take on Guinea and Uganda, and I've got to be honest, the last country in the world to name their squad, and we waited for that absolute drivel. We waited until 7 days before the game for this. That was not worth the wait. I'm not saying it's a bad squad. I think a lot of people have looked at this squad, thought it was crap, and then it started to grow on them a little bit. But like always, the big talking point is not the names in it, but the names that aren't. So we're going to go through this squad today. There's a lot to get through, so make yourself relaxed and comfortable because we're not going anywhere. And obviously the big headline act is Riyad Mahrez not being in this squad. We'll get to Riyad a little bit later. So let's look at the 25 names. Obviously it's a lot smaller than the squad last time. It's FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Some big decisions for Petkovic to be made. Not sure why journalists are asking him about couscous and all that sort of stuff. We had all the kahwa and milfei for Gassama. Now we've got the couscous and all the food for this game against Guinea and Uganda. I'm not really sure it's relevant. You don't see, you know, the Nigeria manager or the Ghana manager getting asked about jollof rice or fufu or any of that stuff. Goalkeepers, again, it's always going to be the usual suspects. Mandrea is the number 1, Zugba the number 2, and Ben Bolt the number 3. Mandrea has been really, really good. He's just had a difficult AFCON because obviously he conceded 4. 2 were penalties. 1 was given after a VAR check and 1 was 2 guys' fault. But generally, you have to say Anthony Mandrea has been one of Algeria's better players. He's only lost 1 game as the Algeria goalkeeper, and he's played Egypt, Senegal and Mauritania. Just so happens that the loss is Mauritania. But I can't really complain. You can't really say there are many players missing in terms of the goalkeeper position. Of course, you cannot tell me there's a goalkeeper that should be here that is not. So I can't really have too many complaints. He's gone for 9 defenders, 2 fullbacks on each side and 5 centre-halves. Now, Algeria's record without Rami Bensebaini is terrible. It's absolutely shocking. It's a diabolical mess. You look at Algeria's last 3 losses. Mauritania, Bensebaini was suspended. You've got the Cameroon game in Bleeduk. Bensebaini was suspended. Atal played left wing back. I don't know why Ait-Nouri was not there. And Sweden in the friendly, Bensebaini got sent off. And it was 0-0 when he went for a bath. So Algeria have not failed to lose without Bensebaini for a long time. I mean, bless the guy, he's not played since that weird knee injury against Bolivia, and he's even going to miss a UEFA Champions League final, which of course we'll claim if he does win. So, big question marks defensively, and Petkovic admitted this in his press conference. How can Algeria deal with teams defensively without Bensebaini? He is a huge loss, and it will be in the back of the players' minds. He's changed it up a little bit. Now Atal and Guitoun, or Van den Kerkhoff, or whatever he's called today, that's fine for right back. Of course, Atal playing football again in Turkey is key, and he has managed to stay fit. Ait-Nouri and Hadjem. Hadjem has been really good in Switzerland towards the second half of the season, so rightfully here. And Ait-Nouri is one of the best players in Europe, in my opinion. That's all fine. 5 centre-halves. 4 of the 5 are essentially born and bred, I should say. So you've got Belaid, Kadad, who both played the Chan with Bugura. Maderni, who played the last game and was poor, but Petkovic explained he wants a left-footed centre-half, and of course that's even more important when you consider Bensebaini's not here. And you've got Mandy, who is still here, who scored, of course, in Petkovic's first couple of games, and Tugay, who played the African Champions League final, but had a good Arab Cup. I've still not forgiven him because he basically assisted Mauritania in the AFCON and got us knocked out. Now, when you look at that, South Africa, we played Mandy and Maderni, the left footer and the right footer. But for me, it's clear that Maderni will struggle at a high level. What has Belaid got to do to play? Brilliant in that Yusma run last season in the CAF Confederation Cup. Experience again in a Chan side. Same with Kadad, he played the Chan as well. But I think with Bensebaini out, and he's still not selected Tuba. He clearly doesn't rate Tuba, even though he plays in Italy. He's got to play Belaid, because if you don't play Belaid, that means he's going to play Moderni, Kaded or Tugay. Now Tugay, again, suspect for me against Mauritania. You've got Moderni, suspect against South Africa. You cannot give Kaded a full debut. I know he played Chan, a full debut in a World Cup qualifier against Guinea. I'm sorry. So it's got to be Mandy and Belaid, and Ait-Nouri and Atal either fullback. And that's solid for me. I think Belaid is a big part of Algeria's defence. Clearly Tuba not in the plans of the manager. Now the central midfield area is light. Belmadi like to play a midfield 3. I think it's obvious that Petkovic wants to play a midfield 2 and a 4 attackers 3 roaming. Now you see in the first couple of results with Petkovic, he beat Bolivia 3-2 and was it South Africa 3-all? So really high scoring games. So his way of winning games is to outscore the opposition, not keep it tight at the back. If you score 2, we'll score 3. If you score 3, we'll score 4. He's going to have a front 4 with 2 midfielders sitting in there. So not many midfielders in this. You've got Awar and Benassa. Now, Awar scored in his final game of the season with Roma. Not had that much game time. For me, Awar has got to still prove himself a little bit, but remember the brace against Cape Verde. We know Awar has quality. Benassa is huge, being fit and available. Bentaleb and Zerouki are safe, sensible options. Look, no Badawi and no Zorgan, which I'm very pleased about. And I'm a big advocate of not having Badawi and Zorgan in the squad. But I would say if you're a Kadri, or if you're an Abdelli, particularly Abdelli got promoted, you're unlucky. He's gone for Kendusi, who plays somewhere in the pyramids. And I think the reason he's gone for Kendusi is because he was really impressed, and I was really impressed to be fair, with Kendusi in the last international break. I thought he was quite good, but in those 5, he is the 5th choice. But I think it's sensible, and I think it's good recognition of how well he played in those 2 games. But you would say you've got Benassa and Awar, who can be quite injury prone in there. So if one was to miss out, then Kendusi would step in. But I haven't got too many problems with that as a midfield area. I would say the big one, obviously, is Chaibi. Now, Chaibi was allegedly man of the match against Angola in AFCON. I don't know how. He's been good with Frankfurt, but scored against Senegal. He was robbed in the game as a qualifier where he scored 2 goals that got disallowed. But he's dropped Chaibi. He's not injured. It's the manager's choice. He will live and die by it. If Algeria win and get 6 points, no one's going to say Chaibi should have come. But I promise you now, Chaibi and Mahrez are going to be all over this if Algeria don't beat Guinea. They're going to be all over this. The fans are going to be all over this. It's a huge call to leave out Fares Chaibi, particularly when you look at some of the attackers we've got. I mean, to take Haj Moussa over Chaibi, I think is borderline ridiculous. Watch Haj Moussa score a goal now. I thought Haj Moussa was one of the most selfish debuts I've ever seen for Algeria when he came on in March. I didn't like what I saw. He's gone to Feyenoord, signed by Arne Slot, who's gone to Liverpool. So I can understand if you want to leave Chaibi and Mahrez out, but to leave Mahrez and Chaibi out to take Haj Moussa, I think it's a brave call, but you know, he's the manager. He gets paid well to make the big decisions. So not really mad about the midfield, but Chaibi is an interesting. There's enough there to cover Chaibi. I mean, Chaibi wasn't even starting for Algeria in the past few games. He started against Angola and didn't start since. So attacking wise, Amora has dropped off a little bit, but I still think a big part of Algeria's future needs to be built around Mohamed Amora. You've got Bakra, who was very good in Petkovic's first 2 games. I thought was really impressive, Monsef. You know, not the most prolific of goal scorers in the MLS at the moment, but I was impressed with him. I wanted to see him again. I like Bakra. I didn't like Haj Moussa, but I like Bakra. Ben Rama's done great at Lyon since leaving West Ham. Yassine Benzia has to start. Might even start as number 10. Bunjah, leaving Al Sadd, just lifted a cup there. Again, probably the backup striker at this point. Yassine Brahimi at 34, 35, but was brilliant. And Ammi Gouiri, hopefully he stays for more than 5 minutes this time. I swear, every time we see Ammi Gouiri, we get gas pumped, and then the guy just leaves at half time. But anyway, so I think you're going to. Well, what I think you should do is you should start Mandrea, play Atal, Belaid, Mandy, Ait-Nouri, have Benassa and a Bentaleb or a Zerouki sitting, and then up front, I think you play Benzia for sure, Brahimi for sure, Gouiri for sure. I've got a feeling he's going to play Gouiri right wing and play Bunjah up front. I don't know why. He either does that or he plays Gouiri, Benzia and Brahimi and plays Benassa, a Zerouki and a Bentaleb or an Awar in the midfield. So Really interesting, but you see there's no Rafik Gitain, there's no Mahrez, there's no Slimani, there's no Yusuf Belaili. Listen, again, I've been a long-time advocate of not selecting Yusuf Belaili. Thank you for the services, but not for me. But the Mahrez one is more to it. This is the captain. We had all the drama when he was dropped against Mauritania. Now, we know Mahrez is on the Belmadi side. Belmadi and Mahrez have a very good, strong relationship, and clearly Mahrez has yet to kick a ball for Petkovic. He was the top assister in the Saudi Pro League, more assists than any player for Al Ahly. So the manager said that Mahrez didn't pick up the phone. And Mahrez has hit back in a bombshell statement. So clearly, all is not well between Mahrez and Petkovic. Now, Petkovic has lost Riyad Mahrez in 2 games. He's lost Mahrez. I'll tell you now, Riyad Mahrez will not play for Algeria again under Vladimir Petkovic. It's done. Now, if Petkovic comes out of Guinea and Uganda with 6 points, Mahrez is not going to have the support. It will be with the manager. He'll be sitting on 12 points from 12 without Mahrez. He'll prove Algeria can win without Mahrez, and he'll basically prove the new generation is here. No Belaili, no Slimani, etc. If we lose to Guinea or Uganda, Riyad Mahrez is going to have all the power. People are going to want Petkovic out, and they're going to want a new manager that selects Riyad Mahrez again. So Mahrez said, after being left out, that he'd never received calls from the coach, and the coach is saying he called him and he heard nothing. Mahrez had a little discomfort in his knee, which I think was true because he missed the last game of the season for Al Ahly. He was not in the squad with a knee injury. He said he opted to rest in order to be fit for the World Cup games, which are really important. So Mahrez is claiming he actually missed a couple of club games to be fit for these World Cup games, and then Petkovic has ignored him. But when you look at Algeria's options on the right wing, there's no Adil Nurse, there's no Ait-Nouri, there's no Rashid Ghazel, there's no Riyad Mahrez. The only out-and-out right winger here is probably Haj Moussa. So Petkovic has picked Haj Moussa over Riyad Mahrez, claimed there was no contact from Riyad, and now Mahrez has come out and said he heard nothing. But Mahrez said good luck for the national team. It was important for me to be present. It doesn't sound good. He respects the decision of the coach, but he takes note of it. He takes note of it. He kept receipts. And I've got to say, I don't think Mahrez is going to play for Petkovic again. I think we could be in an awkward situation. You've seen with Belmadi how hard it was for Delors to come into the side again. Awar. Petkovic clearly doesn't want to pick Mahrez. I think it's quite obvious he wants to move on from the Slimani, Belaili, Mahrez days. And they've had 2 AFCONs where they did nothing and couldn't beat Cameroon. So I can understand it. But when you look at the productivity of Benzia, Brahimi, particularly in those last 2 games, and hopefully a bit more from Guiri as well and Benrahma, then I think he's going to be quite happy with this attack. I mean, not only has he dropped Mahrez as the captain, he's given the armband to Brahimi, and you can't say it's because Mahrez is old, because Brahimi's older than Mahrez, or if not the same age, and he's dropped him for him and given him the armband. So I like Brahimi's dribbling. You see his dribbling, he was very good. Mahrez used to be like that. Yes, you can question the integrity of Riyad when you go to Saudi Arabia, but look at Cristiano Ronaldo. All those goals in Saudi, he's going to start for Portugal in the Euros. Same with Ruben Neves, same with Milinkovic-Savic. You can go to Saudi and still be a big part of your national team. Belmadi took Mahrez to AFCON even though he was playing in Saudi. Petkovic has left him out. He's lost Mahrez. If he doesn't get 6 points, he's going to lose the fans. It's a big call. He's going to live or die by this decision. So I want to know what you guys think in the comments down below about leaving out Mahrez, Chaibi, Rafik Gitain, Ait-Nouri. He's being paid to make these calls. You've got a very physical defence, a lot of local-based defenders. You've got some flair in the attack. I think Benassa being fit is key, but Algeria have got to prove they can do something without Ben Sebaini. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you next time, inshallah.